Okay, so I think that the best way to kick off this leadership profile concerning informed engagement would be to define informed engagement to the best of my ability. When I think of informed engagement, I think of it as two separate parts, being informed and being engaged. So being informed is having knowledge and experiences and having information about a topic or a subject or a community or a group of people or whatever it may be. And being engaged is working with that topic, working to more deep understand it more deeply and to get more involved and making a change in it or helping it to do whatever. It's being physically engaged in it. You're working with the people and the community in need. So I was going to talk about Arne Duncan, who is the United States Secretary of Education, but recently found out that he might resign from the position due to requests of several people. So I was like, better not. So now I'm going to talk about David Coleman, who is the president of College Board, which is the organization that they design SAT and AP tests and college prep and whatnot. And so I think that he exhibits informed engagement because he has to know where the United States is at and where the students of the country are at in order to create these tests. And he has to know what students are looking for, or what colleges are looking for, and how he can help best prepare students for college and help them to succeed after high school. And he does this by helping to make the tests. And before he did this, he was a part of the Students First organization, and he's also referred to as the architect of the Common Core State Standards Initiative, which makes it so that I think it's 44 states are participating, and they have all of the same standards and all of the same things being taught in school so that everybody is equally prepared for life after high school or college or whatever it may be. I don't completely understand the question about personal balance and leadership practice, but when I read that, my mind goes to finding a balance between I think engagement actually is probably the biggest part of this, because that's where you become personally involved, is through the engagement. And I think that without being personally involved, it's not all that much of a leadership skill at all. I think he specifically has to find a personal balance between where he wants the United States standards to be and where they should be, because he does value education, quite obviously. But he also has to do what is best for students and just get down the very basics of what needs to be done right now. I think when you take into consideration his personal values on education, you have to think about the fact that his father's a doctor. I think he's a psychiatrist. And his mom was the dean of a school in Manhattan. And she's the president of Bennington College, which is in Vermont, from I think 1987 until last year. So both of his parents obviously valued education. They went to school, and one of them continued to work in a school setting for most of her life, and then he now works with all of this testing and all of the standards, and he was part of Students First, which shows that he values education in the United States, and he's trying to pass on that value. And I think that part of that, so with respect to community engagement, that's where the Common Core State Standards Initiative comes in, because he is looking at what can already be done, what students are able to do, and what colleges are looking for. And with that, he has to look at, a lot of the times, he has to look at low income students and minority students who are on the track to get into college. And he has to make sure that they're ready for that. And he has to do what he can to help get them there. I think that has a lot to do. That's a lot of respect, just in the fact that he is looking at not specific communities. He's looking at everybody, but he's even trying to help those that are minorities and lower class. Just on a side note, I thought he has never taught a day in his life. He's never taught. I think he got his bachelor's degree in sociology, maybe, and he got his master's and his doctorate. I can't remember if those are in sociology too, or if there's something more specific than that. But I found it interesting that when I was looking into leaders of education, 11 of the most influential people in this field have never taught in their lives. There's actors and people like David Coleman, who he works to help set these standards and to help write curriculum, but he's never actually taught it, which I found interesting. And then I think the 11th most influential person is Mark Zuckerberg, the guy who invented Facebook. But he has nothing to do with education. I think it's so cool that he puts so much of his time now into education and so much of his money into education. I think that's about it.